Here we go, everyone. This is Formula One. Incredible! What a move! Chaos. And he's done it!
It's a moment I will never ever forget.
Patience, poise and intelligence. The traits of a winner, the characteristics of a champion in waiting, we'll have to see, won't we? But Kimi Antonelli has taken the sprint here at the British Grand Prix. He broke British hearts by overtaking Lewis Hamilton, who finished P2. And it was Lando Norris, fellow Brit and winner, of course, last year, who took P3. That's your podium for the sprint. Is it a picture of what is to come here at Silverstone as we head to qualifying and the Grand Prix tomorrow? We'll wait to find out, won't we? But what an assured performance from Kimi Antonelli, biding his time and getting the move done when it mattered most. Bradley Lord, Deputy Team Principal of Mercedes, joins us now. Bradley, as I mentioned, the patience for Kimi, the assurance, the persistence, he got it done when it mattered. How impressed were you with that?
Super impressive. Great to see him get off the line, probably better than the Ferrari as well. So there's been so much work that's gone into the starts and improving where we were at the start of the season. So sort of hats off to all the team back at the factory on that. And then super mature drive from Kimi. And he could see that we potentially had an advantage on tyre degradation, bided his time, waited for the offset to build and then made the move. So yeah, great racing and a really, really good result.
And Pablo, what did you make of it?
I think it was amazing. How do you make of George's race? It seems like he was better than what it was practice. Are you happy where he stands at the moment? Can you make a step for qualifying this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, it's always better to finish higher up than you started. So he went from 5 to 4. It looked like he had the pace to catch Lando as well. He was closing in on him pretty quick at the end. So that suggests the deg is good on both cars, which is good for tomorrow. But it's also, you get stuck in battles at the start of the race with these rules and on these circuits where the energy management is so difficult and it goes back and forth and you find yourself leapfrogged by 3 cars somehow and then you need to work your way back. So he stayed calm with that as well and just worked at it methodically. So clearly was the quicker of the cars, could have got Lando, but hopefully we can start from a better place tomorrow and then go forward from there.
Bradley, we assumed that this would be a circuit where you would be very good. It's very energetically limited. Firstly, did you assume that coming into the weekend? And then obviously Ferrari, a little bit of a surprise maybe in qualifying. Throughout this sprint qualifying and race process, has there been a obvious direction that you can now pursue with Parc Fermé open before qualifying proper this afternoon?
There's definitely some directions to pursue. I think the feeling yesterday was we'd probably underperformed a little bit in qualifying. All of our loss was in the slow corners. So that's a clear area for us to focus on. The drivers were taking front wing out rather than, as you normally do, putting front wing in through qualifying. So that gives us a bit of a hint that maybe hadn't quite landed the setup where it needed to be. But if we look at the race, it suggests we've got a bit of an advantage, and so hopefully we can make some good changes now and improve the baseline setup, because yeah, most of Kimi's loss was a couple of corners in the lap yesterday.
Yeah, my question was going to be, what are the learnings you've taken from today? And it's certainly in terms of how your drivers can drive this. You mentioned, of course, George, with the energy deployment and how that then sort of affects the racing. How then you can suddenly find yourself double overtaken, then double overtaken. So what are the key learnings for Mercedes, for your 2 drivers?
Yeah, I think we'll be looking at what others were doing at the start of the race, where they were deploying their energy, trying to get track position and then hold on to it. What do we need to learn from that? There's the setup that we need to just make sure that we make the right changes just to make both of the drivers more comfortable with it. And then really going round the loop, I guess, on the energy deployment. We're all struggling. You can't deploy everything in all 3 sectors, so you'll be systematically quicker and slower in certain places. We've all got the same amount to play with, and so working out exactly what the optimum is. We've only had 1 hour of practice, straight into qualifying, straight into a race, so we've got a lot more information now than we had this time yesterday after first practice.
And how is George, can we ask? Because obviously he came into this weekend off the back of a buoyant Austria. Yeah. He then said after sprint quali, look, it's story of my season. I'm just not comfortable in the car. He's not feeling it, and certainly in the way the other side of the garage is. That must be tough for him at any Grand Prix, but here it must sting a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, George has got so much experience. You know, he doesn't sort of oscillate up and down hugely according to performance. He knows he had a bad run of results earlier in the year with, you know, problems on the team side. A couple of weekends he didn't quite manage to nail how he wanted to. But we've seen in Barcelona, seen again in Austria last weekend. He's so resilient. He's got the speed. He knows he can put everything together, and so, you know, the good thing on a sprint weekend is you get to go again in qualifying in the main race, and that's when the big points come. That's when you make the difference to the championship positions as well. So he'll just be fully focused on that, and you know, I think any British driver around this place, you get a lift just from the crowd, and you know, he'll be looking to put that to good use as well.
Yeah, the job's only half, not even half done, is it really? Tomorrow then, final question from me, is it Mercedes versus Mercedes, or do you see another team coming into the mix based on what we've seen there?
Oh, I think it's Mercedes versus Ferrari versus McLaren versus
Okay.
at least one Red Bull. So, you know, Ferrari have made a huge step. They brought a big update to Austria. They brought an upgraded engine to Austria. Probably didn't see the best of it there. Are you shaking your head and
He
disagreeing?
is.
Yeah,
He's
good
going,
stuff.
come on.
Come on, no.
He believes in you wholeheartedly.
Well, it's great to
I
have a
believe
confidence.
more in your performance that you do. I mean, you always downplay it, and
Well, no,
of
you
course,
you can't ever assume though, can you? You've,
No,
you
you
have
can't
raced for so
assume.
long. You don't go into a weekend ever going, this is going to be ours. You need to, and it's so
Yeah.
easy to get little details wrong that make a huge difference in these cars as well. So we've got to get everything right if we want to be at the front. Ferrari are right there. They have made a step. We probably didn't see the best of their engine in Austria either, in the temperature and in the altitude, but it's clear they've made a good step forward with their first upgraded PU as well. So we've got to take them super seriously and keep on getting every detail right in the race weekends, and then bringing the little bits of performance that we can find until our next update comes as well.
Do you
So-
agree now? He's made a very good point.
No, but it's true. Yeah, I mean, what people don't forget is that you only brought one upgrade. Everybody's 2, 3, a bunch of upgrades. And I think the day you bring the next upgrade, you're still winning without the upgrade. So you're like, how long can we go without the upgrade? Or you already have a
No,
big plan?
it's much more that we have got plans for stuff to come. We've been bringing things to every race.
Oh,
So
right.
bigger and smaller. The big one was in Canada, but we had new stuff in Austria. We've got a few new bits here.
All right.
There's more to come in Spa, a little bit in Hungary, and then it'll be after the summer break for the next big package. But yeah, we just got to keep chipping away at it, because, I mean, stand still, you go backwards. That's
Yeah, for
motorsport,
sure.
isn't it?
Bradley, thank you so much for answering all of our questions. Brilliant stuff. Well done to you. Good luck for qualifying
Thank you
later.
very much.
Yeah, the job is still to do here at the British Grand Prix. Thank you so much. Let's hear then from George Russell, who finished that race in P4.
Hey George, we're obviously getting up to P3. It looked like you might have a bit of a fun afternoon. We're disappointed with the way that it kind of unfolded thereafter.
Yeah, I mean, lap one was great and did 2 great overtakes in 2 corners. Then, yeah, I got a bit left vulnerable. On my next straight, got overtaken by the McLaren, so I need to sort of understand how I managed to pull the moves off, but then how I lost the positions again anyway. P3 is really where I should have finished at P4. 1 point less, not ideal, but main focus is on quali now.
Well, good luck for that.
Yeah, focus on qualifying. It must be such a mental battle, this, from the hype, the adrenaline of the sprint race, wherever you finish, however you do, to then have to reset and get your mind focused once again for the ultimate test over 1 lap. It is such a demanding weekend, not just for our drivers, but also on our commentary team as well. Jolyon Palmer has joined us from commentary. Take a breath after that one, Jolyon. Qualifying later to come. What did you make, though, of firstly Kimi Antonelli and the way he managed to win that race?
Yeah, I thought Kimi was really good. He's just keeps showing world-class talent, doesn't he? I mean, he didn't panic early on. Luckily for him, the guys on the second row didn't get away at all. So you got the McLarens charging through. There was an immediate break between the top 2 and everyone else. So at that point, you're Kimi, you're thinking, toodle pip, guys. I just wouldn't need to go and get this guy. And the Mercedes was a bit quicker. He didn't panic. He took his time. He had a go at Lewis, or looked to have a go at Lewis into Brooklands. Lewis just went through all of his battery trying to defend. So then you get to the next long straight. Whoop-de-doo, through to the lead. He's looking great.
What's really impressive is how he didn't get trigger happy on the boost. You know, quite clearly, the overtake mode compounds, doesn't it? Puts you in a better energy position lap after lap. I think it's something we're going to see in the Grand Prix as well. And eventually, it looks like, I mean, this isn't, but eventually it looks like a drive past overtake for Kimi Antonelli, because he puts himself in such a better position energetically. But you've got to do that, haven't you, by being smart and not doing half moves with boost for the previous couple of laps.
Because it looked really close for a long time. It was like 1 second, 9 tenths, 8 tenths. So it's exactly that. He's just waiting, bam. Hamilton's on half power, Antonelli's on full power. That is the difference.
It clearly takes them a couple of laps as well just to recover from the start, which is, you know, throw all of my toys all over Silverstone and then somehow scoop them all back into the box again and go racing.
Yeah, something that I thought was kind of crucial when they were racing was, I think what Antonelli did really good. He got a really good exit, and you know, looking at the start, you know, the Hamilton had a really good start, Antonelli had a really good start. The Red Bull, in the other hand, they struggle up the line, and the aggression of Max in the first few laps, he was using so much energy early on that he put himself in a pretty difficult situation.
We didn't have these start replays in the race because there was so much going on, but actually Max and Charles, they didn't move in that initial phase. It's kind of Red Bull back to their old problems of inconsistencies off the line. Isaac Hadjar as well just drops out of the top 10 early on. So that's Max out of play. And then you get all of this, McLaren's charging through. Are they going to go and whip the field? No, they're not. They're just using their energy into Copse corner, and then they're going to be sitting ducks. And all of it just means at that stage you got Lando not miles from Lewis, and he closes a little bit more. And then it's goodbye. We're going to fight for third now. You guys go and have a battle for the win.
It's something about the layout of the track that I didn't necessarily clock. Is in after you've cleared Brooklands until you get to the Vale, there's not really a significant breaking point, is there, to give you any energy back? So actually, it's such a compromise at the start because you've that zone of the racetrack between Luffield and when you get down to Stowe is almost all energy delivery other than a little bit of trickery with the revs, and it's all about how they're managing that bit as to how they're planning the starts out.
It's why it's so much closer to Melbourne, this. I mean, obviously there was tweaks to the regs after Suzuka before Miami, and it's made it better, and has been less chaotic than the Melbourne start. But Melbourne was a similar thing. You got long straights, you got fast corners. You have that here. You have exactly what you're saying. Copse. You're not going to recharge much through Copse. Maggots and Beckett's. Maggots is flat.
And you're also in corner mode as well, right?
Yeah.
So you're bleeding energy into the wings the whole time. It's kind of close to worst case scenario, really, for the first lap of the Grand Prix.
So how difficult is it for a driver to manage? Yes, they've had a few races now to get to grips with these cars, but this feels like a whole new test for them in a sense, or a test from certainly Australia before.
It's Melbourne again, isn't it? It's Melbourne again. So when you can't recharge in the corners, you have to recharge on the straights. And that's when you start to get these massive pendulums going. The yo-yo racing is back, and it's just the nature of the circuit. So, I mean, maybe it's not quite as extreme as Melbourne, but it was certainly looked similar early on. And you just have then a choice of, do you deploy into that corner? Do you deploy into that corner? How much are you backing off into each one? And McLaren obviously shot all their bolts at the start, and Mercedes waited. And I was surprised to hear Lando on the radio just saying, we've got to sort this out, because it didn't look terrible to me.
I think it's how you approach it. You know what I mean? What McLaren did is, let's use all the energy, let's get the track position, and if we sacrifice 1 or 2 places afterwards, it's okay, we'll take it, but we gain 4 or 5 places. And it was, you know, from their position was the right choice. I think the thing that Antonelli did, for example, really well compared with most is he didn't get trigger happy, as you said, and he always had the energy in the right place. In the other hand, Max was, every time he got close, he wants to race. His nature is go for the button, get that extra energy. But the problem is, every time you use that extra energy, you end up in a awkward situation. And I think everybody's going to learn from today, and I think tomorrow everything is going to settle out because people are going to go, no, I better not.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Thanks, guys. Great analysis. It's really good to get inside the cockpit, isn't it, of these cars in this 26 regulation. Well, Kimi Antonelli, your sprint winner, will have much more analysis to come in just a moment. For those watching on F1 TV, you get a sneaky exclusive of an interview live from the pen right now. Charles Leclerc finished P5. How does the Ferrari man feel about that one?
Were you disappointed with that start? Because I didn't really see what happened to you there.
It was a very poor start in general. I mean, it's quite rare this year to have poor starts, but this one was very bad.
And how was the car after that?
After that, the car felt quite okay. I mean, there are still things that I'm not super comfortable with, but I'm doing a lot of progress that unfortunately are not seen so much just yet, because it's small steps after small steps. I feel like I've seen few things yesterday night that I will be able to change for qualifying that goes in the right direction. And if it goes in the right direction for qualifying, I'm optimistic it's something I can keep on other tracks, because it's kind of a bit of a philosophical change on the car to try and fit my driving a little bit better, because I'm surely struggling recently. So I've got to find pace, and I've been working very hard. I feel like we are working well and in the right direction. It takes a bit longer than what I will want, but I'm confident it will go better this afternoon.
Great stuff. Hang in there. Thank you.
Hang in there, the words of Lawrence Barretto asking the questions. How tough is it, Jolien, when your teammate is up the road in the manner that Lewis is and you are not there?
Yeah, that was a really good interview. His philosophical changes. He needs to find a rhythm with this car. It's still a bit snappy for him, so we will see later on if he's managed to make the most of it.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc, P5 in that sprint. What can he do in qualifying? Coming up later on today here at Silverstone at the British Grand Prix. Welcome back down to the pit lane, and the sprint race done and dusted on British Grand Prix weekend. And look at just the sight, the extent of it here. So many packed through the doors this weekend, one of the biggest in F1 history. Yes, Kimi Antonelli took that win. Mercedes are delighted with it, and he did it in such an assured manner. He broke British hearts, didn't he, though, overtaking Lewis Hamilton. But actually, how much confidence, Juan Pablo, do you think Lewis Hamilton will take from that, considering we didn't really expect Ferrari to be that close?
No, I think the big question is, can Ferrari make another step? You know, have they figured, you know, they came in with a really good car. Is he really happy? Because the problem is when you, like on Antonelli's side, you just won the race and you're thinking, I think we're pretty close. But if George, for example, and, you know, and Max, for example, gonna go out and make huge changes, if they nail it, they're gonna close that gap. So you need to make sure, even when you win, that you come and you change and you adapt and you improve, because, you know, it's a completely new event from now on.
So what will Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton have learned from that sprint race, and can they do anything against the might of the Mercedes PU here?
The pace wasn't actually too bad for Lewis Hamilton at the front of the field. Okay, he's got overtake when Antonelli gets past him, and Antonelli manages to drive out of the overtake. I think what's key to understand is the energetic delivery for qualifying is totally different than for the race. When you're racing wheel to wheel, you have to deliver the energy differently, and it actually costs you a lot of time when you're racing. They'll be going straight back into qualifying process now, and what they've got to decide at Ferrari is the way we got on sprint pole yesterday going to work again in qualifying today, or do we need to put different software in the car to achieve that? Then they've got to race really, really smartly. It was almost 6 seconds the chasing pack behind Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Antonelli lost when they were racing each other wheel to wheel in that sprint race. Ferrari are not quick enough to be able to afford that in the Grand Prix, but qualifying first.
Lovely segue. Should we talk about that battle behind? You had Kimi Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton out front. As you said, you then had Russell, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, all getting in the mix, Jolien, for that final spot on the podium. What would they have learned from the way they were able to race each other, do you think, looking ahead to tomorrow?
Energy deployment, isn't it? It's when you use it, when you don't, as Brundle's just said. If you get stuck in the routine of not being able to deploy at the right times, your optimal strategy, you lose a lot of time. I think George had a moment earlier on. So you have, on the first lap, Lando charging through, and Oscar actually, but Oscar fell back through. Lando did really well to get his elbows out the second time and learn from that moment through Maggots and Beckett's and defend the position. When George didn't make it past Lando, he's then used all of his energy. He's then a sitting duck to both Charles and Max, and it really costs you. So when you have the chance to deploy, you have to make the most of it. And then when you're out of sync with what your car wants to do in terms of energy deployment, you're losing a lot of lap time, and it takes a long time to build that regular lap energy usage back into play. And then, of course, you're trying to get that back into play. So you start with your battery topped up as you cross the line. You deploy on the straights nice and evenly, which is what they do for qualifying. You start doing that, and then you got, I don't know, Oscar Piastri flying past you, and you think, no, let's go again. And that's the difficulty. So it's all about getting clear space. The top two had it. Third place did eventually And once they got into the routine, then we saw the normal pace out. But for most of that, it was just who has energy, who doesn't. When you've got it, can you make an overtake? If you can't, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, about driving smart. Yes, go on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? When you're 8 years old in a cadet kart, you get told, pass every driver once. Don't pass them twice. Don't let them back through. We're standing here at Silverstone in the most technological era of Formula One, and what's important? Pass every driver once.
Exactly.
Don't have multi-stage battles and reverse yourself back into the pack.
Well, let's look at the battle as well for P8, the final points-paying position in the sprint race. Beforehand, Liam Lawson was saying, well, if everyone finishes, I'm not in the points. Actually, no, Liam Lawson, you have got that final point in P8, but it was a battle royale between him and Isaac Hadjar, wasn't it? And Hadjar not entirely happy on the radio about moving under braking.
Well, he moved, but he gave him space. So this is the hard part. It was a late move, and sometimes I think when you have a sister team, you think, oh, they're going to be clean and fair. When you're fighting for that last point, especially all the rumors of Lawson, you're going to go for broke and you're going to take that point. And he did. And he was aggressive. Was it fair? You can ask the stewards. But he did what he needed to do to get the job done. And I think it's good. It shows again that the Racing Bull has enough pace. He's the best of the rest.
All eyes were on the front at the start, and rightly so. We wanted to see who got down to turn one first, didn't we? But actually toward the back, and we saw in the replays eventually, Alonso and Perez with an incident there. Let's take another look at it. Alonso with the spin, and Perez ultimately awarded a 10-second penalty. It's kind of what could happen. What do you make of that one, guys?
Same as the stewards. I think it's Checo's going for the inside, Fernando's giving him space, and he panics, doesn't he, late on, and he thinks, oh no, I'm going to drive into the side of him. That then locks the tyre, and he just drives into the back of the Aston Martin. Not more than that.
You've got two really experienced drivers, both in cars that are not in a position to get any kind of result, using it like a test day, basically, and I think it's just clumsy, really, isn't it, between the pair of them?
Yeah, the problem is the cars don't behave that great. He brakes late, and it's like, ooh, am I gonna hit him? So you start combining, and as soon as you start combining, the fronts lock up, and you're like, oh, there you go.
Well, for both, I mean, they are two teams who are absolutely desperate for points, aren't they? Right then, we've got plenty more analysis coming up here at the British Grand Prix for the post-sprint show at Silverstone. Don't go anywhere. Let's take a look here on F1 TV at the schedule. You get to see what remains of our sprint weekend here at Silverstone. So your sprint winner, Kimi Antonelli, the pre-qualifying show at 3:25 p.m. Qualifying starts at 4 p.m. It really isn't long. The turnaround is so demanding, so challenging. Teams, drivers, and do you know what? For commentators as well. Post-qualifying show straight afterwards with all of the reaction. And then Sunday, pre-race show at 10 to 2, 3 p.m. start for the British Grand Prix, and the post-race show with all the analysis straight afterwards. We've got plenty of content to bring you as well, not least from one of our home drivers here. Here's a sneak peek of Arvid Lindblad and our sit-down.
I remember when I was here in 2013, when I was 5, and I was really learning about my passion for the sport, starting to get into it, sitting in Maggots and Beckett's, asking my dad if it would be possible one day to drive in Formula One, is even worth dreaming about kind of thing. And now I'm going to be here 13 years later as a Formula One driver, and I think it's just going to make it even more special.
Great to hear from Arvid Lindblad, one of the home drivers here. What a story for him. Plenty on F1 TV for you to enjoy. Cool Down Room, Jolyon Palmer's analysis, Chasing the Dream, Tech Talk, all the Porsche action. Scan that QR code now to watch. We've got so much for you to enjoy, as ever, not just from the British Grand Prix, but from this season and much more. Welcome back down to the pit lane. Time to look ahead, isn't it? To qualifying coming up a little bit later on. The turnaround so quick. We better get some lunch soon, guys, hadn't we? So Alex Brundle, sprint qualifying done and dusted. Lewis Hamilton on pole. Can he do it again? in the big one?
That's the question, isn't it? I'm reticent to continue to predict the resurgence of, even though we've just seen them win the sprint race in qualifying format, the resurgence of Mercedes. Have they learned enough now to deliver it? Russell seems a bit behind the game. If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Antonelli. But Ferrari are clearly closer than we thought they would be. I'm not going to count them out again. Definitely.
No, we've been made to look quite foolish so far, haven't we? Counting out Ferrari. Juan Pablo, where do you see the pole going a little bit later on?
I'm going to put my money on George. I think George might have it. I think they're going to make enough changes, and he's going to make a huge step. And I wouldn't count out Max Verstappen.
I love it.
I don't know why, but the Red Bull always figures it out. The Red Bull always, when they need to make changes, they're probably the best team out here to make changes and find pace. And one of the things we didn't talk about is they raced on used tires. Max was on used tires, and I think that's maybe for a strategy for tomorrow. I don't know what they were thinking, but they have a reason for it.
Yeah, absolutely. The big points of tomorrow, of course. Kimi Antonelli, though, does now lead George Russell by 43 points. He's eked out that tiny bit more. How much would a pole position for George, as Juan Pablo is predicting, mean to the man, not just on home soil, but with the way the momentum in this season is so far swinging?
Yeah, again, you feel like he needs it. This feels like a weekend that could be a big swing towards Kimi with the way that George is going. But I think you're completely right. If you look at two drivers that can make it good at the end of Q3, go from sprint to Grand Prix qualifying, you are looking at George and Max to come back into play. I think Lando's got a better chance to put things together as well after his scrappy run in yesterday's qualifying. Still think you've got to look at Kimi as the favourite. If he pieced it all together yesterday, he's probably pole. And Mercedes still overall look a little strong. So I'd go with Kimi. But yeah, George, big pressure on him now for this next qualifying.
Just watch Lewis get another pole position.
He will do it. He'll do it. Who are we kidding?
But that's the beauty of it. If it's that wide open and we can stand here and list names and suddenly Charles Leclerc's on pole, that's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
At least it's Palmer this time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll blame him. Guys, thank you so much. Let's go and get some lunch, take a breath. Sprint action done and dusted. Fast and frenetic stuff. Now on to Grand Prix qualifying. Come back and join us here at Silverstone, won't you? Bye for now.
It is going to be another barnstorming British Grand Prix. A huge crowd provide the electric atmosphere. Silverstone only deals in spectacular. And the British Grand Prix is go! And it is a rapid racetrack with some fantastic corners of commitment.
Wow. This couldn't be much closer.
A truly extraordinary racetrack. Nowhere entwines speed and heroics like this place. Lando Norris wins!
Absolutely brilliant.
A home hero at Silverstone.
This is a dream, winning at home. I'll remember this more than anything.